Welcome to the second hour, everybody. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, your steadfast advocate for health, your friendly neighborhood naturopath. So here's what we're going to do for Nisa. We're going to hook her up with a naturopathic, licensed naturopathic physician in the great state of Utah, and then she's under the care of licensed healthcare providers. So the Child Protection Service agencies are going to have to go pound sand. They're going to have to go pound sand. That psychiatrist is going to have to go pound sand. Her MDs are going to have to go pound sand. For goodness sake, if anybody knows a good malpractice lawyer in Salt Lake City, call me up and we'll get her done here, because this is nonsense. Now, so this is what we have to do, right? This is what it's come to. We have to give advice to people about how to avoid their health care practitioners rather than go and see them. And we wonder why we have a health care crisis here. We wonder why medical bills are the leading cause of bankruptcy. We wonder why medical care is the leading cause of death. We wonder why we're going to hell in a handbasket while we let the MDs drive the bus of medicine. Ladies and gentlemen, facts are a stubborn thing. The best possible thing you can do to secure your health moving forward is to fire your medical doctor, convert your comprehensive medical insurance to catastrophic medical insurance to cover you in the case of some trauma, and use the money that you save to get on board with science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition that actually gives your body stuff to make it healthy. Imagine that. What a concept. Going from Utah to Des Moines, Michelle's been listening forever. Hey, Michelle, thanks for hanging on. It's your turn. Fire your MD now. You are live.
Dr. Glidden, thank you for taking my call.
Yeah.
I just had a question. I've been taking the Beyond Tangerine for about a year and a half.
Yeah.
And then about a month ago, I started taking the entire Healthy Start Pack.
Ooh, good girl.
Yep, and I'm actually going to start taking the ASAP as well.
Ooh.
And I should be getting that any day now. But my question is, I am still nursing my youngest daughter, and I wondered, is it okay to take that product while I'm nursing?
I wouldn't do that. I would not do the ASAP while you're nursing, and here's why. By the way, folks, the ASAP is an acronym for as slim as possible, and it's an herbal formula, mostly herbal stuff. There's, I think, a couple of vitamins in there. But it's mostly an herbal concoction, the intention of which is to take the metabolic edge off of the fasting process. Because the only thing that makes people gain weight is we eat too many calories. It's not genetic. It's got nothing to do with pre-existing medical conditions. It has nothing to do with age, race, sex, gender. It has nothing to do with anything other than how many calories we consume. And the only reason we consume too many calories is because of the wisdom of the body. Your body knows it needs 90 essential nutrients. Your body knows that it doesn't have the 90 essential nutrients. And so when your body is running on nutritional empty, it forces you to eat. But the food that you're eating is devoid of the nutrients that you need, so you'll go to Olive Garden, eat 3,000 calories, and 2 hours later you're hungry again. And then your medical doctor's solution for this, of course, is to cut your stomach out or give you speed or amphetamines. You got to be kidding me. So the real solution here, Michelle, for weight loss is the Healthy Start Pack, appropriate for body weight. 1 Healthy Start Pack per 100 pounds of body weight per month. 1 bottle of selenium per 50 pounds of body weight per month, and eliminate the 10 bad foods. Are you aware of our 10 bad food list?
Some of them, I think. I'll have to look it up again. My husband is. He's a real big into this and listens to your show a lot, so he has mentioned them before.
Okay, good. Well, the thing about this, right, is that we've been listening for, I don't know, the better part of 50 years to Monsanto and Betty Crocker and Procter & Gamble to tell us what to eat, right? We've been listening to the people that make the food tell us what food is healthy for us, and they're wrong. We've also been listening to MDs who have no training and no clinical experience in medical nutrition tell us what to eat. And we're listening to nutritionists who, you know, are trained by Monsanto and the big pharma tell you what foods are good, and it's just a fool's errand. I mean, look at where it's gotten us. While we've been listening to conventional wisdom about diet, you know, the obesity in our childhood population has escalated tremendously. 30% of our kids are now overweight. 30%, and I mean obese, not just overweight. 700,000 Americans march through death's door a year because of obesity-related illnesses. 1/3 of American adults are obese. Not because we all of a sudden have the fat gene infiltration in the population. I mean, that's nonsense. It's because we're eating the wrong food all of the time and we're taking the wrong dog to the hunt. We're listening to the MDs. They've got nothing for us into this conversation. They have a lot of things for us to pull bullets out of the arm, stitch up bleeding arteries, fix a broken leg. That's their domain. That's what they're good for. But for weight loss, you got to be kidding me. They don't have anything for you except, lap band surgery and cut your damn stomach out. So once you eliminate the 10 bad foods, you listen to someone who has a clue, right? You listen to licensed healthcare providers, licensed physicians whose job it is to investigate real nutrition. Once you take our advice and clean up your diet and eliminate these 10 bad foods, just doing that, just stopping these 10 foods, you'll lose about 5-6 pounds a month without anything else. No exercise, no yoga, no nothing, no nutrients even. Just by stopping these 10 bad foods, you'll drop 4, 5, 6, 7 pounds a month, easy, without even trying. This is a big component of what we do, right? So the recommendation here is fill your nutritional tank up every day with the appropriate healthy start pack, and it sounds like you're doing that. Eliminate the 10 bad foods, and it sounds like you need to start doing that, right, or a little bit more. And once you've done those two things, your weight will just start to drop off. Now, if you've done those two things and you're still not losing weight to the amount that you want to, then my recommendation is dial in 1,200 calories a day or less, 1,200 calories a day or less while you're doing those other two things. And if you attempt 1,200 calories a day, but you're still eating the 10 bad foods, or you attempt 1,200 calories a day, but you're not taking the Healthy Start Pack, it'll be a struggle and it'll be virtually impossible. But with the Healthy Start Pack and with eliminating the 10 bad foods, 1,200 calories a day, well, it's not a walk in the park, but it's a million times easier than it would be otherwise. And this is the secret to slow and steady weight loss is, 1,200 calories or less a day. The reason that I don't like the ASAP when you're nursing is because if you do the ASAP program, that's 500 calories a day. Now, when you're only burning 500 calories a day, your body does start to burn up fat, and you'll lose maybe a pound a day. The problem with that is most of the toxic crap that we're exposed to in the air and the water and the food, crap in the pesticides and bad stuff in the air, bad stuff in the food. When we're exposed to that, toxins, environmental toxins, the body sticks those away in fat. The body sticks those away in fat, and so now you're aggressively burning fat. Guess what's going to happen? Your body's going to liberate those toxins again. Well, where do the toxins go? Into the bloodstream. Where do they go from there? They go into your liver. Well, that's okay because it's your liver's job to detoxify those things, right? And if your liver is healthy, it can do that. But what does your liver need to do that? It needs nutrients. You don't have enough nutrients because if you had enough nutrients, you wouldn't be overweight. So, liberating burning fat to the tune of a pound a day is a tricky, sticky wicket, and it's like stirring up a hornet's nest. And I would not do that while you're nursing, because one of the potential problems is that the toxins that you liberate from fatty tissue don't get detoxified by the liver. They enter into your free circulation, then they go into the breast milk, and then the child sucks them up. So I don't think that's a good idea while you're breastfeeding. And I'm telling you, you really just have to trust me here, Michelle, because, right, we don't know what we don't know. And I'm telling you, you don't know what you're missing. When you dial in the complete elimination of all 10 foods, all 10 bad foods, everything changes. I mean, everything changes. And it also wouldn't be a bad idea to, as a little experiment, for a day or two or three, to up the dosage of the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, up the dosage of the OsteoFX Plus and see how you feel. Because you also might feel better if you do more, especially if you're nursing. So I would say, take more Beyond Tangy Tangerine, take more EFAs, take more of the OsteoFX, eliminate the 10 bad foods, and, wait until you're done nursing. And if after you're done nursing you still want to accelerate weight loss, because you got to go to somebody's wedding or you just want to look good or whatever, then you can do the ASAP diet. But I'm telling you, If you eliminate the 10 bad foods right now and dial in a more disciplined, increased dosage with this stuff, you're going to be surprised at what happens to your weight. It's one of the, I don't think we talk about, I mean, I could have a whole radio show 24/7 about weight loss, because it is such a misunderstood thing in this country, and it is such a big bad voodoo daddy for most people. But, you know, again, don't trust the MDs because they've got it wrong. Give our way a try. Just for 30 days. If you just do this for 30 days, you should notice a great deal of difference. Thanks so much for the call, Michelle from Des Moines. I appreciate your trust. Well, folks, can you believe it? I mean, my mind is still going a million miles an hour. I'm listening to Nisa's story from Salt Lake City. You know, I don't know what to say. I don't know what more to tell you other than to aggressively, you know, you don't have to be a knucklehead about it. You don't, but I would be firm in my conversation with my family. And I would say, look, I don't want to go to these people anymore. They've got nothing for us. I really want to take a serious look at this medical insurance thing. I really want to dial it down. You know, Obamacare is going to make us have insurance or we're going to get penalized. And it's a good idea to have insurance because if you just walk in the door of the hospital, right, it's $1,000. You're unlucky enough to be in the back of an ambulance, it's $800 minimum, right? So you need money in order to deal with potential catastrophic stuff, and medical insurance, catastrophic medical insurance, if you can find some, comes in very handy in that regard. So, you know, cancel the comprehensive medical insurance, buy catastrophic medical insurance instead, and use the money that you're saving to get Healthy Start Pack and selenium. That's a very good place to start. And eliminate the 10 bad foods from your diet. You are going to love how you feel. We're going to Montana next to talk to Will when we come back after these messages. Stick around. Welcome back, everybody. Dr. Peter Glidden here. Today is the 29th day of July 2013, and we are going to shuffle off to Montana right now to talk to Will. Hey, Will. Thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Thanks, Doctor, for taking my call.
Yeah, what do you think about that story from Salt Lake City?
Oh, I still can't believe it.
I know.
I knew there was a lot of bad stuff going on just listening to my brother, but I had no idea that anything like that could happen.
Yeah, most people don't. You know, most people don't have any clue about it until they're in the thick of it. And then once you're in the thick of it, it's very easy to become enrolled in their way of doing things. I mean, because for goodness sake, number one, you're paying through the nose to be in the hospital. Number two, you're surrounded by hundreds of people who all think the same way, and it's a crazy way. And it's the rare individual that's able to maintain their intellectual integrity in the face of so much BS. I mean, really, my hat goes off to Nissa. She gets, you know, the Dr. Glidden Award of the Year. I mean, we got to come up with some type of an award for this. I mean, I don't know what I'm going to do. But I digress, Will. I appreciate the phone call. How can I help?
Well, I've started with a little history. I've been dealing with high blood pressure ever since I was 18 years old, and I never knew nothing about it. I just remember vaguely sometime in the summer, you know, some days when it was 90-plus degree out, I was working on the farm. I mean, I think I was as close to fainting as possible. Anyway, I tried to donate blood, and the lady that took my blood pressure, I mean, her eyes almost popped out of her head. So
Really?
She got another gal over there, same thing, and they rejected me for high blood pressure. So I went to the doctor, and he took it, and they're like, man, you better quit drinking so you and Pepsi. And I'm like, I don't hardly drink this stuff.
Yeah.
And anyway, to make a long story short, they put me on blood pressure medicine when I was 18, and I'm 35 now.
Wow.
And I've been on 10 different kinds because they start working, then they quit, and
Yeah.
they just beat me dead. Like, at the end of the day, I can hardly move. That's how tired they get me.
Right.
So just a couple weeks ago here, 3-4 weeks ago, I got up on a Sunday morning. Beautiful day. I mean, nothing on my mind. The nicest day out there. Went and had breakfast. And when I had breakfast, I could feel a warming, tingling feeling through my body, and then just my heart beating like crazy. And then I got the chills and the shivers and the weirdest feeling imaginable. So after I ate a little bit, I took my blood pressure machine and put it on, and my blood pressure was like 155 over 120.
Wow.
Pulse was 130, and I thought I was having a heart attack. So on top of that, I had an anxiety attack, which
Yeah, I would too.
Oh, man, it was a wreck. So anyway, got my brother to take me into the ER. Well, they were very grumpy. I don't think they wanted to see anybody.
Right.
Put me on the table, put on the machine there, and they said, yeah, your blood pressure's high and your pulse is a little high and you're hyperventilated. Breathe into a paper bag just to kind of get relaxed.
Really?
And, yeah.
They told you in the emergency room, the best thing they could come up with is breathe into a paper bag. Okay.
A brown paper bag, and I'm like breathing into this thing for 10 minutes. So I'm like, is the doctor coming in? He said, yeah, the doctor will be here shortly. The doctor came in, she looked at the numbers and said, oh, he needs to go home and relax. You're all stressed out. You need to quit worrying. Just think of something peaceful. And I'm like, I'm not stressed out. And told her just what I told you. I got up the nicest morning in the world, nothing on my mind. And they sent me home like that. I mean,
unbelievable.
The nurse was kind of tipsy too, so she sent me home. So I went home and relaxed. It was a long day. So on Monday I went back to the family nurse practitioner, and she took my blood pressure and she almost fell over. Immediately she had me do an EKG and a blood panel, and it came back that my thyroid was 7.65, where it's supposed to be between 0 to 4.
Yeah.
So what's going on is my thyroid is messing all of this up, and I'm just wondering how long back that started, you know.
Well, all right. So now look, you know, so do you remember the thyroid test that they did? Was it called TSH?
It was a blood test. That's all it was.
Yeah. Okay. So there's a number of different panels in the blood test.
TSH.
It was TSH.
Well,
all right. Well,
thyroid TSH. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. So I've got bad news for you. The TSH is irrelevant. It should never be used to assess somebody's thyroid function, and here's why. If you were to take your blood every hour, or my blood every hour, anybody's blood every hour, and do a TSH test on it 24 hours out of the day, the TSH would rapidly change, and depending on too many variables to predict. It is an outdated, archaic, unreliable test to test for anybody's thyroid function. So I'm not convinced that you do in fact have an overactive thyroid. You may have an overactive thyroid, but I know what else you have, and I'm going to give you that clue when we come back. We're up against a hard break. Stick with me, Will. Much more to come, and I'm going to give you some pretty good advice when we come back. I'm not sure it's your thyroid. Ladies and gentlemen, stick around. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. We're talking to Will from Montana when we come back. Yeah. I want to get away too, man. If I lived in Salt Lake City and was at that hospital, I'd want to get away from there as soon as possible. We're talking to Will from Montana. Will, are you still with me? Oops, let me pot you up. Hello, William. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
All right, so here's a little metaphor that I've worked up. Now, you know, you may have a thyroid condition. I don't know. You need to do other blood work in order to determine that. You may. Okay. But even if you do have a thyroid condition, the thyroid condition and the blood pressure, from our point of view, are two arms of the same octopus, okay? So let me just, let's imagine that you bought a house in the country and you didn't really know anything about anything, and you had a backyard that was sloping down into the house and the basement wasn't properly waterproofed. And, you know, you've got a finished basement with wallboard and paint and, baseboard and carpet and the whole thing, right? Now, every time it rains, the water comes down the hill, bumps up against the foundation, and because the foundation isn't waterproofed, it slowly starts leaking into the foundation, and then you have water intrusion into the basement. So it's going to leak through the foundation, then it's going to leak through the 2x4s, then it's going to leak into the wallboard. And if this happens for long enough, you have a mold problem, right? Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. So now you have a mold problem, which in your case would be the high blood pressure, right? It was the high blood pressure that you were diagnosed with 14 years ago. That's not genetic, by the way. It happens.
That's what I was told.
Yeah, no. So yeah, it's just nonsense, right? It's nonsense. I don't know how medical professionals can get away with just telling nonsense to people. I guess it's what they've done for hundreds of years, right? I mean, they told George Washington to bleed himself, and that's what he needed to do, right? So he believed him. But so anyway. So you've got mold in the basement. So what is the MD would say, well, look, just paint over it. So they give you a high blood pressure medication. It paints over the mold. But it still rains. and now you've got more water coming in, more water coming in, more water coming in. There's going to be more and more mold, so you need more and more pain. So they've needed to switch your blood pressure medications a number of times over 14 years because the situation's getting worse and they haven't fixed the root cause of the problem, so they have to keep changing it up all of the time. And, rather than blame their misguided, inappropriate, ineffective therapeutics, they blame you. Oh, well, it's not the doctor's fault. It's your fault. You have the high blood pressure gene, and there's nothing you can do about that. We just have to keep switching it up. All right, so now you've had mold and water intrusion into the foundation for 14 years. That, in addition to creating mold, the water intrusion, that's going to weaken the foundation, and it's going to create dry rot. So now you've got dry rot in the walls of your basement, and the foundation cracks. So now you've got a crack in the foundation, and that's the thyroid problem, if there is one. I'm not even sure that you do have a thyroid problem, but right?
One thing I didn't mention here is my heart rate normally was between 90 and 100. It was always up there, and even with my blood pressure perfectly normal, I had a fast heart rate. But here with this TECT, whatever it is, it really accelerated. My heart rate went up. So she put me on some thyroid pills, and I took one every day. And the first 3-4 days, it appeared it really helped. My blood pressure was good. My pulse was between 60 and 80, depending on the activity. And that was all good. And I figured, this is working. But yesterday morning, I took the pill like you do on an empty stomach, and it tells you nothing to eat for an hour, or no calcium for 4 hours, and so forth. So I did the same thing, but right after, like an hour after I took it, I had a big bowl of cereal. Now, I don't know if the calcium did something, but man, my heart started racing. I couldn't control it. It was blood pressure was up, and I tried.
Okay, so are you? All right. So again, they're off on a wild goose chase. Are you shorter than you used to be?
I won't say no.
You sure about that, or don't you know? Have you measured yourself lately? Do you know how tall you were when you were 20 years old?
Yeah, I was about 5'10" and a half.
And what do you think you are now? 5'10" and a half?
That's what I think, but hey, I could measure myself and find out wrong.
All right, so that's what I would do. I would measure yourself. Now, if you're 5'10", or 5'9 3/4, then you have, shrunken. And how is it that human beings shrink? Well, there are these cushions in your back called intervertebral discs. And it's like a feather pillow. And when the feather pillows in your back run out of their feathers, you shrink. Mm-hmm. And the feather pillows are in your back to cushion the nerves that come out of your spinal cord and that go to different parts of your body. So if the nerves coming out of your spinal cord that go to your heart are coming out with right next to pillows that have lost their feathers, so to speak, then the nerve signals to your heart are going to be messed up, not because there's anything wrong with your heart, not because there's anything wrong with your thyroid, but because you have something called intervertebral disc disease. And the easiest down and dirty way to assess that is to just measure yourself, man, and see if you're shorter than you used to be, okay? Now, if you are, what I would advise you to do is go to a chiropractor, a good chiropractor. And I have no idea how you assess that. I would just ask around and see who's a good chiropractor in your town and have them do an assessment of your spine. Because it may be, I have seen erratically beating hearts disappear in 2 minutes after a chiropractic adjustment. Okay? Now, it could have nothing to do with it. It could have a lot to do with it, but you don't want to overlook the obvious here. And this would be a horrible thing to figure out 5 years from now. Oh, my God, all I needed to do was go and get a couple of chiropractic adjustments and my heart starts beating fine. So I would not overlook that. But the other thing here is that we want to give your body the nutrients that it needs to have healthy blood pressure, right? And because this is a holistic phenomenon, when we give your body the stuff that it needs to have healthy blood pressure, we might get lucky, and that might affect whatever it is that's affecting your heart to race and knock down the accelerated heart rate. So for the next 4 weeks, I would max out on your nutritional supplement program. Tell me what you're doing now.
Well, right now I'm taking a couple vitamins a day. They're alive. I don't know if they're any good, but...
Oh, yeah, they're not. Well, they're like Toyota. right? Toyota's not a bad car, but, you know, but longevity stuff is like a Ferrari, you know, or a Lamborghini, or, you know, a NASCAR car. I mean, it's a completely different classification. I mean, it's not even in the same category as most vitamins, not even in the same category. And this is an important thing to talk about, because when it comes to nutritional supplements, the recipe is everything, man. I mean, you got to have the right recipe. It's got to be in the right molecular form. It's got to be bioavailable. You got to take enough for your body weight, and who the heck knows how to do that? Well, we do, because we're the licensed physicians whose job it is to dial that in, man. So what's your current body weight, Will?
About 185.
All right. So here's what I would do for 30 days to see if there's a difference. Right? You're going to want to write this down. How did you hear about this radio show, by the way?
Dave has been listening to Wallach's and all that for a while, and then a fellow by the name of Jason here from Montana as well.
Okay, great. So you want to get with those guys. You want to get with those guys to order the stuff that I'm going to tell you about, because they'll be able to get it for you at the wholesale price. Okay. And they'll also get credit for it, right? And this is how we do it, right? It's a big. Everybody lifts everybody else up, and it's a big collaborative effort all across the world. So, as an experiment to support and promote healthy blood pressure in your body, to support and promote a healthy cardiovascular system, as an experiment, I would do 2 healthy start packs. 2 healthy start packs. 4 bottles of selenium. 4 bottles of selenium. And 2 bottles of plant minerals. 2 plant minerals, 2 healthy start packs, and 4 bottles of selenium. And those guys will tell you how to take it. And also, if the heart continues to accelerate, the next time you go to the knucklehead healthcare provider, whoever you're going to, tell them that you want a test called Free T3. Free, like Free Willy. Free T3. And Free T4. Free T3 and Free T4.
So
those
T3
yep.
and Free T4.
Correct. Those are the state-of-the-art blood tests to assess thyroid function. That TSH test that they gave you is nonsense. It's worthless. I mean, throw a dart at a bulletin board to try to figure out your thyroid function. You probably get a better result. You know, and we want to be prudent, and we don't want to have a consistently racing heart, right? I mean, because you could die, and we need to intervene here, but we need to intervene with the appropriate therapy, and I think the MDs are leading you down a goose path. So check to see if your height, check if you're shorter than you used to be. If you are shorter than you used to be, then lickety-split, find a chiropractor who's good, who can do a little assessment of your back. Tell him that I told you that I think that your back may be related to an erratic heartbeat. He'll know what I'm talking about. Meanwhile, take those nutritional supplements, but the icing on the cake here, Will, really to take this to the moon, is there are 10 foods you need to stop eating. You can get that list at my website. It's free. So just visit my website, please. It's fireyourmdnow.com, fireyourmdnow.com, and sign up for my free newsletter. It's free. We don't sell the emails. You get a newsletter once a week, once a month. And when you sign up for my free newsletter, you automatically get directed to a page that has a document called Good Food, Bad Food on it. And I want you to download that document, open it up, and there's a list of 10 bad foods. 10 bad foods. As an experiment for the next 4 weeks, I want you to eliminate those 10 bad foods, take those nutritional supplements, and then call me back and let me know what happened. Does that sound like a plan?
If the heart is racing like that, is there anything you know that will help just to get it down, get it in control?
Well, the first thing we want to do is give your body the raw materials. Yes, so those supplements that I just recommended should do the job.
Okay.
The answer, yeah, those supplements should do the job here. Now, we might need to add something, and there might be something else going on here. I don't know. But that's what I would do initially. And also, if you're concerned that it's an overactive thyroid, because it would be an overactive thyroid, right, then what you want to add into your diet is a lot of vegetables that have Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, eggplant, and Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, eggplant, and there's one more that I can't remember, the cruciferous vegetables, okay? Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, eggplant, and broccoli. There it is, broccoli. All right, so eat more broccoli, eat more cauliflower, eat more Brussels sprouts. Take those nutritional supplements, clean up your diet, eliminate the 10 bad foods. Keep your fingers crossed and see what happens. And also find a chiropractor and measure yourself. Measure yourself right now. And let me know what happens in a couple of weeks. Get with the people that told you about this show. They'll get you the stuff. They might even have some extra that you can start taking right now. And give me a shout back in a couple of weeks. Best of luck, Will. Remember, we want to get to the root cause of the problem here, not just medicate symptoms into submission. Well, folks, we're coming up against the hard break again, and we're going to finish out the show today by talking to Abi from Miami. So please stick around. We're going to be coming back here shortly. And please don't forget to visit the website of the same name as the show, fireyourmdnow.com. That's fireyourmdnow.com. We have tons of stuff on the website. Sign up for my monthly health recovery subscription service. You'll have access to over 80 hours of recorded health information from the holistic perspective. 4 hours live stuff a week. It doesn't get any better than that. Fireyourmdnow.com. Click on the health recovery subscription service and join the team. And we're back, rounding it up here. The last segment of today's July 29th radio show. Please visit the website, fireyourmdnow.com, and catch a clue, just like Abi from Miami did. Hello, Abi. Welcome aboard. You are live.
Hello, Dr. Glidden. How are you?
Fine, thanks. Thanks for the call. How goes it in hot Miami?
Okay, very hot. That's for sure. Okay, I have a quick question, a little situation here with a woman of 150 pounds. She's taking the protocol to manage, to get some help with the high blood pressure and some digestive problems. She's on the Healthy Start Pack, EFA Ultimate Daily, Flora, enzyme, and she's strictly on the diet, right? On the avoiding the bad food.
Yeah.
She thinks that since she started the Ultimate Daily, her diastolic pressure is kind of like unstable. It's going up a little bit, and she feels a little bit of compression on the chest, and suddenly sometimes her feet become warmer. Now she's not taking the blood pressure medication all the time. Now she feels the symptoms of it, and some other times some little palpitations. And then she realizes that when she measures the pressure, that it's because of the pressure is going up. The I don't know the name, diastolic.
Okay, so given the fact that she has a history of digestive issues, right, we can assume that she's got an absorption problem.
Yes.
And we also want to pay attention to her experience. And if it's her experience that for whatever reason she thinks that the Ultimate Daily is upsetting the apple cart, then it would be prudent for a week or two to withdraw the Ultimate Dailies completely. And what I would do as an in-house experiment for 7 days, given her history of digestive issues, is I would have her triple the amount of calcium that she's taking every day. Triple it. Whatever she's doing now, have her take 3 times that dose every day. So if she's doing 2 ounces now, have her do 6 ounces a day for 7 days of the white liquid calcium. Eliminate the Ultimate Daily capsules, have everything else stay the same, just increase dramatically the white liquid calcium, and look to see what happens to the blood pressure. And I'm going to bet you 25 cents that within 7 days, by increasing the calcium dosage, there will be a noticeable, measurable improvement in her cardiovascular system. So that's what I would do there. And is she having any ongoing digestive problems, like, anything that you're aware of, or is that all historical?
No, not right now. She's not feeling anything in the digestion.
Okay. All right. So up the ante with the white liquid calcium. Stop the Ultimate Daily capsules. Measure the blood pressure consistently, and look to see how she feels. And then give me a call back next Monday, or it might even be by Friday that this is going to normalize itself. And also, people get to be their own champions here, and they can do whatever they want with their prescription medications. There's nobody holding a gun to their head with prescription medications. But in a perfect world, what we're looking to do here is get people so healthy that they can safely and effectively stop all of their prescription meds. It's never a good idea to bounce around with prescription medications. So you're either taking them or you're weaning yourself off of them. But I don't recommend people stop them and start them and stop them and start them and stop them and start them. This, of course, in states where I can prescribe drugs, all right? Now, I can't prescribe drugs in Florida, so, but I'm telling you from my clinical experience, it's a bad idea to bounce around with prescription medicines. You're either on them or you're off of them in a guided fashion, either on them or off of them in a guided fashion. But triple the white liquid calcium, Abby, and see what happens. Keep up the good work down there. I know you're doing a fantastic job. Ladies and gentlemen, you've wasted another 2 perfectly good hours listening to Dr. Glidden today. We had quite a show today. I hope that you archive this one and keep coming back to it often. I remain your steadfast advocate for health, reminding you more today than any other day. Please take my advice and fire your MD now. Check out the website, and I will see you tomorrow.